Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I want to show you a plugin that you can use to create very good drum fills. Now I've always struggled with drum fills. My usual workflow would be something like this, going to one of these packs that I have. Heavy hard fills here. And just kind of hoping that the fill that I find actually works for the track. As you can hear, there's not a lot of good stuff in here. This is very distorted and obviously very hard. But I wanted something more realistic and sounding just overall better. And I also wanted to have the customability of actually having a drum kit that you can play with. So these are the fills that we're going to be looking at today. And the way that I've created these fills is with the plugin MT Power Drum Kit 2. This is actually a free plugin. This is donationware, so anytime that you open it up in a new project, it will open up and actually ask you for a donation. But if you want to use it freely, then you can skip that. Obviously, if you enjoy the plugin, then I always recommend donating to the developers so that they can keep this plugin up to date and support it. But for now, let's first look into the actual drum kit. So I'm just going to hit a couple of sounds so that you can get an idea of what it sounds like. So as you can hear, very realistic drum sounds, and these are obviously very useful for fills because you can take them wherever you want. They don't come pre-distorted like the fills that I showed before, so you can distort them if you want to or choose not to do so. Now obviously you don't want to be sitting here and just clicking drums like this. That's not going to work, so this is actually MIDI triggered. It does have a little bit of a funky layout if you open up the plugin, but if you want to check out the mappings, then you can do so by going into settings, and then mapping will open up and you can see all of the mappings that you have in here. So these are going to be the MIDI notes that are responsible for the different sounds that play. So this is the first fill that I made. This is the short one over here, and you can see there's actually very little to it in the sense that you're just laying down notes and trying to see if the sound actually works. So the way that I started this particular fill is with the toms. And that's just kind of the tom rhythm that I wanted to go for. And then I decided to add to that with crashes. As you can see here, we have a ride to just have it a little bit different from the first. We have some hats as well. And then towards the end here, we have a snare as well as a kick drum. Now this isn't necessarily realistic in the sense that we're hitting a ride, a hat and a tom at the exact same time. Now obviously most drummers don't have 3 hands, so they wouldn't be able to hit all 3 instruments at once. I would recommend personally, if you want to keep it realistic, to always consider what a drummer can actually play physically with the amount of instruments that you're playing at any one given time. But in this case, I wanted a big splash. I wanted a really strong kind of element sitting right here. And playing all of those elements at the exact same time gives me the maximum amount of impact. And obviously I don't really care if it's sounding realistic or not. I don't mind if somebody in the crowd picks up on the idea that, hey, we're playing a snare, a hi-hat and a crash at the same time. That's not possible. Actually, now that I come to think of it, we're playing something that would require 4 hands to actually play. Because there's the ride, the hat, the tom, the snare, and then the kick drum, which is obviously done by your feet. Now deconstructing the second drum fill is going to be very similar. The only real difference is that it's longer. This is the project that I showed off in the last video, so we are using fill notes. As you can see, this isn't exactly lining up with our normal grid. If you want to find out more about the swing aspect of this project, then make sure to check out my last video. For now though, again, we start with some toms. And then here what I'm doing is I'm triggering the snare twice at the final part here. And this is just to have the snare extra loud. It's going to be a contrast between this and this. You can hear it just adds a little bit of extra loudness to it. After that, we again sprinkle in some hi-hats. We have a crash at the final one here. And the interesting thing about this drum set is that it already is kind of set up to actually be played as a drum. So for example, this open hi-hat here, it closes when you hit the closed hi-hat. You can hear that it actually cuts off the sound in order to play the other hi-hat, which is what it would usually do on a drum set because they're played with the exact same hi-hat. So with a plugin like this, you're going to get very realistic drum sounds because obviously it's programmed to actually be played as a drum. Again, that is not necessarily the goal here. The goal is to create kind of impact and create kind of flow. Sometimes that means that we're playing more sounds than we should technically be able to, but that's okay as long as it works for the fill. Now that's everything that I wanted to show for today. I just wanted to kind of show off this plugin and show off this new method that I found that really helped me with my drum fills, so I hope that it also helps you. If it does, let me know by leaving a like, and if you're new here, make sure that you're subscribed. But this is going to be the video for today. I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.
It's impossible to